Welcome to the Bottle Poppin' Podcast, where Meg and Heather share their love for oils, friendship, and entrepreneurship. Let's get it poppin'.
Hey everyone, this is Meg.
Hi there, this is Heather.
And we are the Bottle Poppin' Podcast. So Heather, what are we popping open today?
We are going to pop open a bottle of clove oil. I think we both enjoy this one. Multiple reasons. It smells like fall. It's relaxing. But yet, it feels like the excitement of fresh air and fall, which is always fun. I like it. I love this one.
That's so funny, the fresh air and fall, because I smell it and I think of like cozy weather and like fireplace.
Ooh, okay. We could go both directions with that.
Yeah. So I think for me, that comes up because my mom used to, all through the fall and the winter, she would, whenever guests came over, she would get a orange, like a fresh orange, and then put clove buds, I guess, into the orange and then put it in water and have that on the stovetop to make the house smell like orange in the scent. And so it was always like a cozy, warm, welcome to our house smell. And that's what I smell when I smell this.
So very similar tradition from Sweden. My husband does the orange and we stick the clove buds in it. It hurts your fingers while you're doing it.
Yes, it does.
But then you actually hang it from things. And so the aroma is supposed to last through the season. And so that's something I'm trying to think if we do it in the fall or closer to Christmas now. But that's something that we do every year too. And it smells really good.
It does smell really good. And now that you mention that, we did occasionally hang them, but my mom is really particular about the look of things. And so
I can see that.
Didn't go with her decor. She also doesn't like the color orange. So it didn't go with her decor, but the smell was there often. I guess that was pre-diffuser.
Yeah. I'm a little more relaxed around the holidays. Like once we start hanging other things around the house, I feel like this is just the look of clutter and chaos we're going with for the season.
That's your decor.
Yeah. Unlike other days, of course.
Right. Yeah, naturally.
So what's your first impression scent-wise? We talked about how it makes us feel, but what if you had to describe this scent to somebody?
So I would say it's spicy and kind of sweet.
Okay, but I would say warm as well. This is a hot oil.
It is. This is really exciting. Podcasting, you're just listening to us sniff.
Really, we just need a video of us just like bringing it back and forth to our nose. That would be fun too.
Yep, this is the award-winning podcast that you're listening to here where we just open bottles and sniff. We need to sniff louder or add like sound effects.
If only podcast had the whole smell-o-vision thing, then it would be perfect. You all could enjoy the scent too. Or just get yourself a bottle of clove oil and let's get that. Now, on this part of the conversation, because I was just doing all of our normal research that we do before the podcast, let's talk about clove oil as a whole. So doTERRA's clove oil is steam distilled in Madagascar from clove blossoms. And that is because those provide the maximum potency and efficacy. However, there's a lot of different brands on the market, and the actual least expensive part of the clove plant is the stem and the leaves. And so if you're buying a bottle of clove oil and it's significantly less expensive, do you know what part of the plant it was sourced from? Because guess what? Those stems and the leaves, they don't have the same amount of potency. So you might not be getting the health benefits that you're expecting. Because it's a hot oil, you could burn yourself if you don't know how to use it properly.
Right.
And then a lot of them, are for aromatic use only versus doTERRA's clove oil. This is safe for internal, aromatic, and topical. If you're going to use a topical, definitely make sure that you are diluting it with a carrier oil because it is that hot oil.
Yeah. And this is one that I actually use equally all three ways. I don't know if you're the same, but I feel like there's very few oils where I use them equally all three ways. Most of them, it's like, oh, no, I like this one for diffusing only or whatever. But this one, topically, it is amazing for numbing. And so I think most commonly it's used for toothaches. But I have used it before for headaches too. Sometimes you get a headache in just like one part. And so to just rub it on that one part and numb the pain is awesome. And then internally, I have a pho, so Vietnamese pho recipe that is so delicious. And it calls for clove, but instead of using fresh clove, I make a big pot of it. So I do just one drop and it adds the perfect amount of flavor to that. And then aromatically, fall and Christmas, like we were just talking about, it smells like that. So it blends so well with like the cinnamon or the wild orange, any of those, and it just makes your house smell amazing.
So I actually have one in my diffuser right now, a recipe that I found called Sunshine. And it was 3 drops of clove, 3 drops of elevation, 2 drops of peppermint. You unfortunately cannot get that elevation anymore, but it's a combination of citrus oils and vanilla, I think. But it smells absolutely amazing. And it's a slightly different variation than what you would think with the fall diffuser scents.
Yeah.
Because it's got the citrus plus a peppermint, it's really uplifting. It smells really good in here.
That smells amazing, that sounds amazing. I wish I could smell
it.
Again, that whole scratch and sniff option for podcasts would be real awesome.
Well, and when you were talking about the numbing, I have used this for the tooth pain, like what you were suggesting. And I don't even remember what the cause was or what was going on, but I had a tooth that was bothering me. And I just took that and I stuck a drop right. You're probably supposed to dilute it, but actually even on doTERRA's website, it says you can put a drop on, you put it on your toothpaste, you can swish it around with water, but I think somewhere I read that you can just put it right on the teeth or gums. I like that numbing feeling. Not only did it help with the toothache, the sensation of that numbing feeling is kind of fun too.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. And it makes sense. Like I know not that long ago, it was really common for people to take a clove bud and just chew on it if they had a toothache.
And I remember,
I remember in college, a woman that I worked with doing that. She was sadly, she could not afford a dentist appointment. And so she brought cloves to work and was chewing on cloves all day long to deal with the pain. And it worked.
Wow. Well, and it's in a lot of different products that are oral products too, from candies to gum to dental preparation stuff, because it helps cleanse the mouth and freshen breath. So I think it's a easy one to go to if you are looking for that.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's actually in doTERRA's dental products. So like their toothpaste, the On Guard toothpaste and the mouthwash. So it's actually in there. But then for an added level of support, you could put it on your toothpaste. On your toothbrush with your toothpaste and then add a drop if you just really needed the dental numbing effects.
Or just like that sensation.
Right. Yeah.
And the flavor, because again, this is safe for internal use, this is really easy in baking recipes as well. Now, again, like you said with the pho, you've got to be careful about how much you're using. So it's not a teaspoon of this for a teaspoon of whatever, what you called for. So start with the toothpick and see if you feel like that adds enough. But this just adds a really subtle, nice fall flavor like that.
Totally agree. And I forgot about it until just now when you mentioned it, but I have done that with pumpkin bread before, with a pumpkin bread recipe, and just, you make the dough for it and then do a toothpick and kind of swirl it through and then mix it all together. And it just adds another layer of flavoring.
That sounds really good.
Yeah. This podcast episode is kind of making me hungry for all of these foods.
Agreed. Well, and because the bottle's open, I already have the aroma, so I don't need to go worry about putting it on the stovetop or, baked items. So
save the calories.
Yeah. Just smell it.
Yeah. So something new I just learned this week about clove oil. I have a new biofeedback machine that I'm going to start incorporating with my business. And one of the things that came up for a client who has issues with lymphatic drainage, it said to use clove oil, which I thought was super interesting. But again, as doing the research beforehand, there's a lot of different benefits. It looks like this oil helps move fluids through the body. And so specifically, I would recommend, like, if that's something you need to do or need support with, this would be a really good oil to like rub on the bottom of your feet or put a few drops on a body brush and then brush your body with that to help just get your lymph nodes moving and to get fluids moving through your body. And then the clove oil would provide you with extra support in that.
Well, and I bet that sensation's really nice with the dry brush and the clove. I'm definitely going to try that.
Yeah. Yeah. And you'd smell kind of fun too.
Yeah. Well, and one of the other things that I've heard this is good for, and this goes back to chewing on the clove buds, is addiction to tobacco. I've heard that when people are trying to stop smoking, they will chew on the clove buds. And so if you were going to use the oil, I don't know, just like I feel like smelling the oil keeps me from wanting the baked goods. I'm curious if just the scent alone could keep somebody from wanting the cigarette. They make those little inhalers that you can add the drops of oil to, and then just hold it up to your nose. So every time you go to get that craving, would it be helpful to just breathe in that clove? I think black pepper is the other one that helps.
Yeah, black pepper definitely helps with that too. But yeah, I personally like the smell of clove more. I know you like black pepper a lot, so.
I could combine the two. I think the two together would be okay.
Yeah, I think they would be too. I think they'd actually complement each other.
Well, and, speaking of addiction and then trying to stop something, I was reading the Essential Emotions book, and the emotional property of this one is actually boundaries, which is really fun too. I did not know that about clove. And so just thinking that if you need to set up some boundaries with people in your life, or how you are approaching things like work or home life, and you feel like you're either being taken advantage of or overwhelmed, maybe clove is something that you need to be incorporating to help with boundaries as well.
Yeah, I love that. I love that these oils are so diverse and have so many different benefits. But boundaries, I think we all can use more boundaries in our life.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. Well, anything else you want to share about this oil?
I can't think of anything else.
Okay. Well, we hope that you guys are excited about popping open a bottle of clove and trying it for all these different uses. It's a pretty awesome oil that I kind of forget about, but it's a really good one to have on hand for a whole bunch of different reasons. So we hope that you've enjoyed and learned something new. Also want to remind you that the third Thursday of every month, except for September, we do a live Q&A Zoom class. And so we'd love to have you join us. It's at 7 p.m. Central Time. Again, the third Thursday of every month. So if you're interested in that, go to bottlepoppinpodcast.com, or you can go to our social media, and we've got a link there for you to register for that class. And we'd love to see you. It's just 30 minutes, but we'll answer all of your oily questions or just life questions, because clearly we are experts on all kinds of things, not just oils.
Well, come on in and ask Meg for that pho recipe so we can share that too.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Okay, well, thanks so much for listening. Have a great week. We will be back every Friday. We have a new episode coming out, so definitely subscribe so that you hear that when it comes out.
Thanks for tuning in. For more information, you can follow these bottle poppin' ladies at bottlepoppinpodcast.com. Tune in next week to learn about what bottle we're poppin'. Until next time, take care. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This podcast is not intended to treat, diagnose, cure, or prevent any disease.